Now, polls have opened in the US midterm elections with more than 500 Congress and state governor positions up for grabs.
A backlash against Barack Obama is widely tipped to deliver the Republicans a congressional majority. Associate Professor Brendon O'Connor is an expert in American politics at Sydney University's US Study Centre, and he joins us now from Sydney. Good morning, thanks for your time.
Good morning, Michael.
Now, it's fair to say, isn't it, that Democrats from President Barack Obama down are strapping themselves in for what is going to be a long and very disappointing night.
Yes, you're right. The Democrats are likely to lose the House of Representatives, the American lower house. I mean, the more powerful Senate they might hold on to. The Republicans are looking maybe to get 48, I'd say, out of the 100 senators, which will be a 7-senator increase, which was pretty significant and will be a real slap in the face for the Obama administration, I'd say.
Now, let's fast forward to tomorrow. How do you expect Barack Obama to respond to this? Will he reach out the hand towards bipartisanship, or will he go another way?
Well, I think the Democrats will want to say in difficult economic times, incumbent parties, the President's party is likely to be punished, that the Democrats in the Congress maybe didn't message things as well as they might. Harry Reid, who's been the leader in the Senate, may lose his seat in Nevada. So I think there'll be a sense of, well, the Democrat team, both in the Congress and the President's team, didn't play it well. Whether Barack Obama wishes to take a card from Bill Clinton's playbook and use the Republicans to fight against in the next 2 years is difficult to say, but Clinton was more of a moderate. He wished to go to the centre, where a change candidate such as Obama, someone who really wanted to reform America in lots of ways, I think this will be a major setback, and really we might have seen the best 2 years of his first term in the last 2 years.
Will Barack Obama have little choice, though, if for argument's sake, the Republican majority in the House of Representatives is bigger than expected to move towards the centre to accommodate some of the things the Republicans are pushing for?
Yes, I suppose this will be difficult. Mitch McConnell, who's likely to lead the Republicans in the Senate, has said our main objective is to see that Barack Obama isn't re-elected, so there might actually be less cooperation there's been so far, a lot of gridlock, a lot more frustration possibly by the American people, and I think there'll be a lot of criticism of Obama for maybe being too bipartisan in his attempts on some of the issues early on in his first term. So I think there'll be a lot of rancour and argument on the Democratic side about tactics, and it'll be very interesting to see whether there'll be changes in the White House. A new communications team is mooted. This is, I suppose, one of the big arguments, that Obama hasn't communicated his message very well. He was a very good communicator as a candidate, but as president he's been less effective on that front.
Now, the Republican leadership in Congress will have its own challenges should it win, and win big, because, as you know, Brendon, a lot of the Republican pre-selections in House and Senate races have been won by the so-called Tea Party candidates, and the Republican leaders in the Congress will have a bit of a task in co-opting them into the mainstream, won't they?
Yes, you're right. I mean, the Tea Party has given a lot of energy to the Republican Party, or it's been an insurgent movement within the Republican Party, so it'll bring people out to vote. It's a great marketing strategy, this name, the Tea Party itself, referring back to the Boston Tea Party, when the English were told no taxation without representation, or kind of limited government message way back then. So these people will come in very boisterous, wanting government to be significantly reduced in the United States, and they'll be used, I think, by the President's administration, by Barack Obama, to show off, well, some of these people are extreme, that they're outside of the mainstream of American society, and I think the establishment of the Republican Party will attempt to rein them in and use them, so it will be an interesting game to follow how boisterous the Tea Party become and how much of a force they are in, say, the lead up to the next presidential election.
And so dramatic is this election, Brendon, that it could redraw the US political map, because we see states like California, traditionally very liberal, going Republican in both the governorship and in the Senate races.
Yeah, I think the Democrats will actually hold on in California. I think the coasts will be the place where the Democrats are kind of still in power. They're likely to win the 2 Senate seats in New York. I think they'll do well in California, probably just hold on in Washington State. So it's the Midland, it's the Midwest particularly, of the United States where the Democrats are really going to be hammered. They're going to lose in Ohio big. They're going to lose across a lot of those industrial states of the United States, and they'll lose in Florida, I think, very badly. So I think that's really where the disaster is, because the people who have the power, the governors of both Florida and Ohio, will be able to control some of the rules regarding the next presidential election, which doesn't sort of bode well for Barack Obama.
And finally, Brendon O'Connor, is it fair to say that if the Republican Party does well, care of the Tea Party movement that Sarah Palin has championed and godmothered, if there is such a word, will tomorrow mark the first day of the Sarah Palin 2012 presidential campaign?
Yes, well, the Sarah Palin media story will continue. She's likely to get an enormous amount of coverage. She's likely to claim this as a victory of hers to some degree, that it will be seen as a repudiation of Barack Obama. So I think it'll be very interesting to see how she rides out of the election, how she attempts to use it maybe as a chance to launch her campaign towards Iowa for 2012, and how, I suppose, the establishment of the Republican Party, which isn't that taken by Sarah Palin. There was a lot of conflict in the 2008 campaign between her and McCain, how they play off against her. So there's, there's a fractious time, I think, ahead in some elements of the Republican Party, and probably some soul-searching for the Democrats.
Brendon O'Connor from the US Studies Centre, great talking to you this morning. Thank you.
My pleasure.